It looks like Dojo is no more at Tesla. Somewhat. Not entirely. It looks like it's still there, but for the most part, looks like Tesla is scrapping it. It's interesting. Elon Musk was going at a interesting spree last night talking about Dojo and why they're shifting away from how they're doing, as well as some really interesting FSD updates as well. Let's get down to it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, because this video is very interesting and it comes down to the fundamentals of Tesla. Not that anything bad has happened, but in fact the market is liking it. The stock is up 2% on this news, so something is going down. Let's get down to it. Let's go. So Amit, my boy Amit here, he writes this: as per Bloomberg, that Tesla is winding down efforts with Dojo, focusing their compute needs on Nvidia, AMD, and Samsung. Pete Bennett, VP, is now leaving Tesla after most of the Dojo team has begun to leave. Now that tells you that Tesla or Elon is saying that, man, this thing is looking harder and harder to do every single year, because companies like Nvidia, Samsung, they are just cracking these chips. They're advancing it and we just can't keep up. And our focus is something else. Our focus is to deploy robo-taxis and then robots afterwards, not to make these chips. That's the signal that's coming out. Very, very strong and loud. My take, not really a big deal. Most of the Tesla bull case has been rooted in FSD and Optimus, not Dojo, which is absolutely facts. I did a podcast with CERN, which we went over pretty much everything that Tesla has to offer, and Dojo wasn't even in there. Here's the video. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Just grab your popcorn, because the numbers get nutty. And I do say insane a lot in that video, because it was just insane. In fact, the focus on outsourcing compute chips should only accelerate FSD Optimus versus trying to do it in-house, which is facts. Elon said in 2023 there was a low probability of Dojo working. And he did say that, and it looks like they're coming to this realization right now, which this deepens the moat of Nvidia. Just easier to buy the chips versus replace them. Man, I wish I bought Nvidia back in 2022, 2023 when the stock was, you guys can see the chart how low it was. It was like the crash to buy. I mean, I bought more Tesla stock. I built my whole entire savings then. It tripled since, but with Nvidia, it 20x'd. Bruh. I would have made a whole bunch of money if I went all in on Nvidia back then, and I knew I should have bought some, but my focus was Tesla, and it still is Tesla because the things are happening, right? Anyways, the power of Nvidia, how strong they are, pretty much deepened and not destroyed, but made Elon realize that we should just focus on what our goal is rather than trying to make a chip and compete with Nvidia when Nvidia is already years ahead, and they continue to be years ahead with their chips. We are years ahead with our robo-taxis, so we should focus on that and Optimus rather than focusing on the chips. We can just get it from Nvidia and Samsung and all these other deals that we can make going into the future. That is a signal that I'm getting here, and I think Elon is doing the right thing here without dividing too much. And he actually comments here saying that it doesn't make sense for Tesla to divide its resource and scale to two quite different AI chip designs. The Tesla AI5, AI6, and subsequent chips will be excellent for inference and at least pretty good for training. All effort is focused on that. He continues and says that in a supercomputer cluster, it would make sense to put many AI5, AI6 chips on board, whether for inference or training, simply to reduce network cabling complexity and cost by a few orders of magnitude. One could call that Dojo 3, I suppose. So Elon is saying that it doesn't make sense to focus on two different chips, focus on what we have going on. Don't spend so much on making something that we are going to be behind and we have to spend a whole lot of money on. Easier just to forget about this, save a whole bunch of money, use that saved money to buy as many chips as we can to build our FSD network, our robotaxi, fleet, our Optimus, and just focus on that, which makes sense. Mars here requotes this and says that Dojo 3 will use AI6 chips. I'm skeptical that the inference chip in the car can be useful for training. Then Elon Musk writes this very important comment, replying back to him saying that most training in the future will actually be inference for the sole purpose of training, aka synthetic data generation. Now, most people sat back and said, whoa, wait a minute. Doesn't this devalues Tesla's moat, the real data, real world data moat? And here's the thing. I don't think so. Maybe to some degree, sure, but the actual moat for Tesla is deploying these robotaxis anywhere and everywhere. There's no other company out there that can really, with a switch of a button, make their cars into robotaxis. There's nobody. No one. It's not Waymo, it's not Uber, it's not Lucid, it's not that deal that they made. They just can't do that. They just can't do it. And I had Joe on this podcast, on this channel, saying that hey, in the future, FSD is going to be commoditized. But what they don't have is millions of robotaxis on the road today. And in order for other companies to come in and have robotaxis, they have to get the hardware, which is going to take 2 to 3 years to do. And what do you think Tesla's going to be in 2 to 3 years' time? So the real moat for Tesla is deploying robotaxis in multiple of thousands and millions because you already have them on the road. Not only that, you already have a dedicated car. Should I call it robot on wheels, a cybercab, just for this reason? So this is the real moat for Tesla. Yes, the real world data. Tesla has the most real world data, but it's looking like, based on Elon's comment here, they've reached a limit where only certain data can improve this FSD brain and AI, whatever you want to call it. Jensen agrees with Elon here, saying that you need tons and tons and tons and tons of data to make sure the AI learns. But I think Tesla has reached a point where it's like, we need to do synthetic data, make fake real life situations so the AI can learn and go into. And that can also be confirmed using real world data, which Tesla has a lot of. And in fact, I think this is also the synthetic data here going forward for the inference chips and all that kind of stuff is a gap that Tesla also needs, because he wrote this about 16 months ago, it was last year, saying that 2 sources of data scale infinitely. Synthetic data, which is a true problem, and real world video, which does not. Now, what do you think is going to happen when you have the synthetic data and then you have the real world data? It's going to be a magical thing. And I think Tesla is seeing this and they're going forward full blast. Elon also comments on this again. He's not done. He's going on a spree here, saying that the difference in real world performance between AI 4 and AI 5 is far more than any chip version I've ever heard of by a lot. It's really good. Pretty much saying that our AI 4, AI 5, and AI 6 chips coming in and going into our vehicles to enhance our FSC and robotaxi and the way it's collecting data and improving our software is better than making any chips. So why are we making any chips? Just continue with what we are doing. Now, here's the thing. I said in the beginning that Dojo is kind of out. Not really. They're calling this Dojo 3. So pretty much what they're doing is that they're getting AI 5 and AI 6 chips, which is Tesla's. They built the stack, and then Samsung builds it and TSMC builds it. And then you also borrow or get from NVIDIA, AMD, and other guys. And that's going to be Dojo 3. That's it. So instead of them going and doing the whole thing themselves, this is the way they're doing it, which is going to be much faster. And we're going to see a whole lot faster improvement in robotaxis and the bots, which is, I'm going to say it, an insane moment. Now, I do want to go here and share AJ's thoughts here because Elon Musk liked it and he has some very interesting thoughts here. So bear with me. He says that Dojo is dead and here is why this is good. Let me explain. Yes, Tesla's compute demand is very specific and highly optimized solution made sense until NVIDIA unveiled the latest gen products. It does not make sense for Tesla to dump resources into Dojo, just buy products from NVIDIA, which makes complete sense. NVIDIA, the equivalent of NVIDIA chips improving on how fast they're going forward is the same thing of what Tesla's robotaxi is going forward. That's the best way I can put it. Focus on your strength. That's it. Don't divide. Don't be an octopus. Focus on your strength. So this makes sense. I anticipate this move and thus never included any Dojo commercial upside in any of my forecasts. NVIDIA is a quickly moving target and any future Dojo 2.0 or 3.0, etc. has to compare to the next and next and to the next NVIDIA product generation. For these reasons, this news is neutral to slightly fundamentally positive to my expectations. He explains here saying that it's fundamentally positive since Tesla can focus scarce resources where it's much easier to compete. Building supercomputers with an NVIDIA competitor in the room is not that area. NVIDIA is an extremely formidable company, simply got 10x the resource of Tesla to spend on compute R&D and focuses on one thing and one thing only. Build the most powerful token generation factories year after year after year. Hence, I view this positive step. And Tesla can focus on their robotaxi, which is the most powerful token generation here, year after year after year, and they're optimists, which works out. The next point will sound like an Elon apologist statement, but that's false. Elon killing off Dojo demonstrates yet again he is nimble enough to admit defeat and move on. Many leaders, especially very successful ones, lose the ability over time to keep projects, which turn into vanity projects due to uncompetitiveness. Alive for too long, Mark Zuckerberg's cough cough. Elon, well aware how popular and inspiring Dojo was to Tesla holders, killing it off now demonstrates he doesn't shy away from hard decisions, even if unpopular amongst the fans. Although, as a long-term Elon observer, I knew this was coming. Now seeing, in my view, credible rumors emerging is good news since it prices out residual uncertainty. Lastly, I know this will, after the denial phase is over and more evidence emerges, drive some outcry and disappointment amongst the fans. The point is that this is a good decision. The market environment has changed and it's good to see Tesla adapting. And I 100% agree with AJ's thoughts here as well. Elon saw that Dojo, and he did mention it a couple years ago, as we talked about it earlier in this video. He said that Dojo may not have worked in the future, low chance of working, and they did get some good results, but Nvidia and all these other guys are lightning speed. It doesn't make sense for Tesla to dump so much money on something that they're always going to be behind on. Just focus on something that they're already ahead on and continue to be ahead on that, aka self-driving, robotaxis, Optimus, all those things. And I think this is a good way of taking resources from one place and putting it in the strengths. So that is awesome. And to go more deeper into this, Phil here writes it very perfectly, and I just had him on the podcast. It'll be available. It's already up for members only, but it will be available for everybody on Sunday morning. But he writes this: AI 6 is now Dojo. Remember guys, AI 5 and AI 6 plus Nvidia and other chips together, that is Dojo 3. Or the new Dojo. The old Dojo or Dojo 2 or 1 no longer exists. That's why you see their VP and other guys in the Dojo team getting relieved a little bit. But this is a new Dojo. AI 5, AI 6, plus the other chip manufacturers, which is much easier to build the Dojo. This is the new Dojo. When Elon discussed plans for the AI 6 chip, remarking it would be the convergence architecture, it was clear major changes were coming to Dojo. Dojo is Tesla's AI training supercomputer built around a custom chip known as the D1. The D1 and AI 5, AI 6 share many core design elements, particularly the math operation used in neural networks. For example, matrix multiplications and highly parallel processing. Dojo had a unique feature: chips arranged in a 5x5 grid using a system on wafer design with etched interconnects enabling high-speed data transfer. In a sense, Dojo will live on as the generalized AI 6. Going forward, all efforts will focus on AI 6. And Elon replies back by saying, bingo. That's it. So the old way of doing Dojo is out. It's just Tesla has simplified it and got rid of the things that don't work. So it's flipping awesome. Sheesh, I feel like I'm on a repeat on this video, but this is why this is really good news for Tesla, because more resources are going on things that do work, which is the strength of Tesla, which I absolutely love it. And this proves my point. Tesla secures Texas rideshare permit for robotaxi operation. This is what Tesla needs to do from now until end of the year, until they have robotaxis over the US and globally, which is awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is the focus that Tesla needs to do. And on some really interesting news here, Jim Nahir says that FSD road trip log, day 8, drove from Milwaukee, if I butcher that name, I'm sorry, to Chicago via lots of side roads and picked up 16 new superchargers, now at 1117 total, no interventions. And then Elon Musk replies back saying that the FSD software update next month will be a major step change improvement for rare conditions. Serum Basher requested saying that, could this be the version that allows the safety monitors to come out? Elon replies back here, Elon's on fire, man. I love it. Saying that this will substantially reduce the need for driver attention, but some complex intersections, heavy rain, or unusual events will still require attention. Note, the Austin Robotaxi FSD build is around 6 months more advanced than what is available in cars in America, and there are some additional breakthrough in Tesla AI that will make the car feel eerily human. AKA, we don't need these drivers anymore, these safety monitors, which is going to be awesome. And we're talking about in the next couple months or so. This is what we want to see. This is what matters. Not Dojo chips or anything like that. This is what matters. But it's really good to see that Elon saying that what's not working, get rid of it, remove the part. The best part is no part, right? Take that resources and put it onto something that does work. That's why we need Elon as CEO. I'm not too sure if there was another CEO, I don't think they would do that. But Elon, he takes risks. We need someone who can take risks. So it's good to see that Tesla is now focusing on their strength, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every flipping second of it. So all in all, guys, the old way of doing Dojo is no more. Tesla's focusing more on what actually works and not wasting a lot of money on things that they know they're always going to be behind on. Nvidia is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's why they're very good at it. Tesla needs to be focusing on one thing and one thing only. Now, as Tesla, they can do many things at once that they're really good, which would be now Robotaxi and Optimus. But right now, they have their team on Optimus, but right now they need to really ace the Robotaxis. And again, their main moat is the fact that they can spread this thing, the Robotaxis, everywhere in a matter of a button, because we already have Robotaxis all around the world and the United States. We just need to get regulatory approval, and that's it. And in order to do that faster, we have to get these regulations to approve it. And in order to get that approved, get the full self-driving to next levels that are much better than humans. And Elon just mentioned the next versions are early human. This is what Tesla needs to focus on. And Elon seeing this, he's going head on, which I absolutely love it. Now, I had Phil on my podcast, and he had some very interesting things to talk about the signal of the company, which had to do with AI 6 and version 14 and all these other things that we really need to listen to. So I recommend you guys to check it out. If you're members only, you have access to it right now. If you are not, Sunday morning, notify it, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You all don't want to miss it. It's a very good video that tells you all the signals you need to know to overcome any type of noise that will be coming in the next coming, or anytime when there's a noise. That's the video you guys need to check out. Anyways, subscribe, guys, become a channel member, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Let's go.